I hear him saying to me, since I've asked for that separation, that he wants to understand and he wants to do different and he wants to make it right. And there is a huge part of me that wants that for him. I don't want him to be hurt. I do want us to be together. I'd love to just smooth it over and move forward. But there's also a part of me that feels like some things you shouldn't have to explain, some things you shouldn't have to ask for, some things should be like innately understood.
Somebody got to cue me, or do I cue myself?
Cue yourself.
Okay. We'll start. Yes. We're just going to start at the beginning.
We're just going to do it.
Jan, Albert,
cue yourself.
We're doing. Yes. I am going to cue myself. Hey, we're back with another episode of Let's Talk Off Camera, so let's get talking. Yeah. I really, really became obsessed this year with our guest today, Jan.
I know it's very rare that you say to me, Jan, I want this person on this podcast.
She captured my imagination, my spirit, my heart, my soul. I can't stop looking at her. I want her to come unfuck my wardrobe. I feel like, look at me. I'm wearing elegant pajamas.
You look great. Chic.
As opposed to the slop I typically wear. I just think her story is compelling. I think she is compelling. I really think, and I'm going to tell her this when she signs on, I really think she is a New Yorker.
She's meant to be in New York.
She's a New Yorker.
Maybe now that her life is changing,
yes.
She's separated.
Yes.
Maybe this will be a good shift for her and she can just go back to the second house and film that show, right. and live here.
And live here amongst her people.
Amongst her people.
If you're wondering,
she's about to have like a big second life right now, like a big.
Yes.
I think
she seems like a fish out of water there. Or like a fish in water, or like a fish with no water, a fish in the desert.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If you're wondering who we're yammering on about, dear listeners, we're talking to one of the real housewives of Salt Lake City, Utah. Right. That's right. She's a mother. She's a philanthropist. She's the only person I know on that show. She wears literal costumes, like full like Met Gala worthy costumes. Yeah. She's super irreverent. Even her furnishings behind her in the house, I know that husband of hers, estranged husband of hers, did not pick out anything in that house. The art is not his. None of that is his. That's all her. I did not know that she's a Broadway producer. Did not know that. Yeah. Yes, I'm going to get into all of that. But she is, this is why I think she needs to come and clean out my closet. She's a fashion historian and an archivist.
Wow.
I feel like we should bring her
Let's bring her in.
Okay, let's bring her in now. Look at her. Hi, Bronwyn.
Hi.
I just want you to know something here. In the 3.5 years that we've been doing this podcast, I have never asked Jan to book me a guest on this show.
Oh my gosh, it blows my mind that you even know who I am to request me, but I'm so flattered. I'm blushing.
I don't just know who you are. I am obsessed with who you are. I love who you are. I feel like I want to be your boat roommate because I would cherish that experience.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I wouldn't have had to sleep on the deck.
You would not have had to sleep on the deck, not on my watch. So we were just talking about you. We do an intro before you logged on, and I was talking about all of the ways in which I am intrigued by you, riveted to you. I feel like we would be really good friends. And primarily, I feel like, and again, I'm going to use this term two different ways.
Okay.
I can't tell if you're a fish out of water or if you're like the water stuck in the desert. Like I can't figure it out, but I feel like you are a New Yorker.
I am, I'm in New York right now talking to you. I am not in Salt Lake City. I'm here in New York.
Okay.
Mr. Siriano and I have a little tradition. The last night of the last episode of the season, he and I always go to dinner. I don't watch the episode alone. He and I go out to dinner. So I'm here to go to dinner with Christian.
And where are you guys going to go? Where are you going?
We're going to Libby tonight.
Oh, very nice.
But a big part of my life is in New York. You know what I mean? I do the Broadway productions, and my husband and I, and maybe in future just me, we'll see, co-produces Broadway shows. And And obviously all my fashion stuff is here. So many of my friends are here. So yes, every once in a while I think to myself, like, should I say to Andy, I'm looking for like a, transfer to Roni?
Yes, I think that you could be the person to really reestablish that brand.
I know you're a Broadway producer.
Yeah.
So the play, because we saw the final episode, the play that they did in Greece.
Oh yeah,
Do we think that's Broadway? Do we think that's Broadway quality?
Honestly, I think if they did bring it to New York in a limited run, that Housewives fans would go.
I've got to tell you, I actually said, now if all Broadway shows were that length, I could get Mark to the theater 4 or 5 times a week.
Absolutely.
4 or 5 times
no
a week.
intermission.
That was
Yes.
the perfect length of theater for him.
Yes. Well, and years ago, I went to the opening night of Come From Away, and they had so many of the original people that the
Right.
production was about in the audience, and I got to meet so many of them. And then, so when we heard that we were doing this play about ourselves in Greece, that was kind of my first thought. It was not like that whatsoever. This was not a heartwarming tale of my previous successes.
To me, you were the only person that got the message.
Oh, I took it very seriously. Yes.
I mean, nobody else. It's so.
I kept being like, guys, this is art imitating life.
Right.
Like,
Are you listening?
We wrote this play about
Right.
each
We
other.
wrote this about each other, about ourselves. I do feel, though, that you're a very understanding friend on that show. You seem to be the voice of reason, the voice of calm. You kind of rise above all of the horse shit.
I try to, yeah. Somebody said to me the other day that what they liked about me is that I'm not loyal to anyone, even myself. I'm loyal to what I think is right. And I was like, okay, I'm loyal to myself, but that's true. I am really quick to be like, no, I did that and I shouldn't have. Or, no, that was wrong. Yeah, I said that. I do try to stick to like you, not like you. I agree with the behavior, or I don't agree with the behavior, or I like what the conversation is, or I don't like what the conversation is. And I don't know if that's winning me a lot of friends on the cast.
What is this symbiotic, strange relationship between Lisa and Meredith? Why are they so codependent, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, everybody has their own feelings about it. My opinion, where we stand right now, after filming the reunion, after filming this season, is that sometimes friendships are based on all kinds of things. Their friendship right now, I think, is avoiding mutually assured destruction. I think they both know where all of each other's bodies are buried after such a long time knowing each other. And they've committed that they are not going to go against each other ever, no matter what. And I have to give them credit for I don't know what else to say about that, but it does feel like a strategy, not a friendship to me at this point.
And it seems like when they both have things going on in their marriages, they divert attention to everything else,
Yes.
like everybody else, and not about themselves.
Yes.
Somebody's automatically an alcoholic, something like they make it about something else. They're
I'm
very good
rubber,
at
you're
diverting.
glue, whatever that stupid phrase is.
Yeah.
They
One of the best things the show has done for me is I am a real people pleaser. I do try hard. I work hard at all the things I do. And I don't think that's embarrassing. I think sometimes my daughter's turning 20 and her generation feels like you should be effortless and nobody should know how hard you care about things or how hard you try. I want people to know I try really hard at things. But the show has really given me a way to realize that I don't have to make everybody like me. I don't have to explain myself to everyone. And that's been really freeing for me. And I think a nice thing to say is I wish Meredith and Lisa felt like they could just say, this is who I am, or this is what's going on, or this is where I am right now. But I think when you want to control what you look like to other people, yeah, it's hard to talk honestly about what's going on.
But don't you think the fact that you have taken that stance of not really worrying about what other people think of you has allowed everyone to like you so much more?
I hope so. The other thing that's interesting for me is I just film each day as it comes. I don't go into the season thinking, oh, this is going to be my story or my, my arc, or this year I'm going to be a villain or a good, whatever. I just kind of film it. And so some days, I know people have said, oh, maybe I backpedal or I change my mind about things. No, I just was really going through something. And some days I was mad and some days I was hopeful and some days I didn't know where it was going. And it's really freeing to just say, yeah, you watched the whole process. It was a hard thing to go through.
The one thing I didn't realize until, and I will keep the name of this person top secret.
Okay.
Okay.
Many years ago, somebody I knew became a cast member of The Real Housewives
Okay.
and literally started planning, not with me, but bouncing off sound bites to me. I think what I'm going to say is this. Does this sound funny? I'm going to try to say this. What do you think about this? What do you think if I say this to so-and-so? And I was like, wait, why are you planning? I think you should just wait and see what happens, and then you should say what you say.
Right.
But I didn't realize how a lot of housewives go in with a plan. I just thought reality TV, you just show up like we're doing here in this podcast, in this chamber, in this dungeon that we're in. I did not realize that there was like women planning storylines, planning how they were going to have alliances. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Alliances.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Do people plan going into the reunion? Like, do people like talk beforehand and say, this is what we're going to go in together? Or is there like talk before a reunion?
You know, not to me. I think they know that I'm not interested in it. I don't know what they do without me in the room or who goes to dinner when I'm not there. I sometimes am surprised that this reunion that's coming, there were many times that I was like, I did not know. Wow, that's brand new information to me as it's happening right now, you know, arguing across me in front of me. I think maybe Mary and I are the two that you're not going to tell ahead of time what to say and we're going to pull it off. Neither of us know for different reasons, maybe, but I would probably just say no. I don't know if Mary's not going to be convinced to do that either. No.
What do you, have you seen this documentary about Mary and being in a cult, being her church is a cult?
I have not. I mean, I know about it. I haven't seen it. Mary has been a very good, you know, sounding board for me. Lots of good advice, a good friend to me throughout the show, off and on camera. And I have not seen her since it's come out. We have texted. I just kind of checked in on her. And what I'd like to do is give Mary the opportunity to tell me if there's anything she wants to share with me, if there's anything she wants to correct, if she doesn't want to talk about it. I think that's for Mary. We have enough of a friendship that I trust that Mary would tell me what she needed to tell me. And what I've seen of Mary's church, just the one time that I went and filmed there, was that Mary is very loved by her congregation and that they are very comfortable with her. So I haven't seen it. I can't speak to what's in it. And I'm excited to have a conversation in person with Mary about it at some point.
I have to ask you an off-topic question.
Oh, please. Yeah.
So take me inside your closet. Before you logged on, I had this fantasy that you would come over to my house.
You thought I was going to film from my closet. Yeah.
No, you would come to my house and you would unfuck my closet.
Yeah.
I feel like you're an archivist and I have archival pieces, but they are wedged in between some bullshit.
I would love it. I
just feel like I need somebody with fresh eyes.
When it's yours, it's hard to let go of it. I know. For me though, because I wear the clothes and I do love all of the couture. I love the ready to wear. I love the experimental stuff, but I wear it.
You need like your discards, whatever you want to discard. You know, the real.
Yeah.
You need like Bronwyn's
your own
couture
website.
pop-up.
Yeah.
Like
a few years ago, like during COVID, when it was, you know, everybody had nothing to do, I went through stuff in our Park City home and I said, I'll sell stuff for charity. And it got out of control really quick. Me trying to like decide what I was going to do and just putting it on Instagram and people DMing me. And we won't do it that way ever again.
No, but you need I think you need like a storefront. I do.
Yeah,
I think you need a storefront.
It would be amazing.
But have you been stylish your whole life?
I've always known what I wanted to look like. I remember in kindergarten really like knocking heads with my mom over what I wanted. I had a very clear idea of, there was like a definitely blossom era of like the printed flowered leggings with the baggy shirt and the bucket hat and the big flower on it. And I always tell people we moved to Europe when I was in first grade. And I had this whole like plaid shift and beret and matching little flats. And they told the kids that I was moving from California and somebody was making a joke about it. And I was like, but I'm dressed Parisian. Like, it doesn't matter if I came from California. I'm not a California girl. Like, this is very Coco Chanel, you know, like in the first grade. Like
you knew Coco Chanel in first grade.
Yes, I used to read all the magazines. I have big sisters. I wanted to be part of all of the things. I don't know that I have an eye for what's new or next. People always ask me about trends. I know what I want to look like. And I always have an idea of what people should look like. Like when people ask me for opinion, I always have an opinion. I'm never like, oh, well, let me think about it. Like I'd be like, yes, this is what you should wear. Let me put this on you. Like I have a definitive opinion for sure about clothes. Always.
So growing up Mormon, did you feel like that was stifled?
Yes, my family did really believe in the modesty of Mormonism, and not just from a strictly covering your body perspective, but also modesty in like humility. So not drawing a lot of attention to yourself through clothes or bright colors or patterns, which, I remember being little and thinking that like rainbow cheetah was my favorite color, not just like a normal color. Like I wanted all the sparkly things. So
you've really leaned out of that modesty with colors thing.
Yes.
You've leaned way out of it.
So that was tricky. I got to meet Betsy Johnson a few months ago. She and I did something for a project I have coming up. And I said to her, I remember being in high school and feeling like when I put on a Betsy Johnson piece in her store, that I was like, this is what my insides look like. Like now, like my outside looks that way, and I remember thinking, like, I remember I bought a one piece. I wasn't allowed to wear a 2-piece bathing suit in high school, but it was like one of those monokinis and like that kind of it. And I remember being like, this is so racy. Like, how will I survive that? But yes, yeah. I really think of fashion as storytelling. I think the way that we do all get dressed every single day, whether you pretend like you care about it or you don't care about it, you are saying something to the world, how you show up and what you put on your body. So I have this project where I go to people's closets and I sit with them and they talk to me about where fashion intersects for them. So where I've interviewed a couple of my favorite drag queens about like dressing as a political protest, and some of my favorite designers about when they knew that they had an eye for sketching, or was it, fabrication or whatever it was. And Betsy did the show for me. She's going to be one of my first episodes. And her telling me, like, oh, Cher came in or Prince or whatever, and they wanted this. And I was like, no, you can't have that. That doesn't look good on you. Let me give you this instead. I like just the happiest day of my life sitting there listening to her.
How big is your closet?
Oh, okay. So
is it a room?
I mean, I spread it out. We
Yeah.
don't just have the one property. So I have stuff in everywhere. And then I do have some offsite storage that's like climate controlled and things are archived and wrapped the way they're supposed to be. But we have, I'm going to be in trouble. I've never really gotten into like the specifics of this. People are going to live to hate this, but we have an entire 8,000 square foot unfinished basement in the Salt Lake house. We have all these plans built out for like a whole wing of all kinds of different things downstairs, but it's just we're not there in the remodeling process yet. So right now it is just all of my racks of clothes and shoes and bags organized.
What it should be. It should be an 8,000 square foot.
And it's basically cold storage for my couture because it's an unfinished basement in Salt Lake City.
You put like a platform in the center, like a pinning platform. You put mirrors all around and you turn that into a giant dressing area /
I like to joke that's when Bravo definitely casted me. They came to the house, they'd already talked to me, they knew that I was kind of zany in my own person and I have a slick mouth when I get mad, and then they were like, so where are the clothes? And I was like, oh, they're just on racks downstairs in the unfinished basement. And they were like, take us down there right now. And I think they'd never seen anything like that before.
So tell me, what is going on, if you are comfortable talking about it? If not, tell me what's happening with Todd.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you something.
Yeah, tell me.
That I didn't know you when it happened, or I would have called you.
Thank you.
When he ate the cherry off of your sundae, I was fucking pissed.
I
know. Irate. I was really irate. I was so angry because you were so open and honest about what you wanted, what you needed, and what something meant to you. And he sort of cavalierly just took it and ate it like he wasn't listening at all.
Yeah.
And I got really upset for you.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I know I don't know you, but I feel like you're my little sister, and I feel like I'm pissed at him. I've never forgiven him for that.
Oh no, poor Todd. Okay, so
should I forgive
you?
Todd?
So Todd and I are tricky. It's a whole thing. We've been together for a long time, and I do really love Todd. I know there's always all kinds of. It's such a big age gap, and I'm so so different than Todd. And there's no way that this is I don't know. I can't get into all the speculation about it.
Right.
I do love Todd, and we've been together for a long time. But Todd and I in the last maybe 2 to 3 years have really, when I met Todd, I was 28, 29 years old, and I'm now 40. And in the last year specifically, my mom was so sick. I was so worried that I was going to lose my mom having a second brain tumor. And then I was so busy taking care of my mom, I didn't see my dad kind of slipping through our fingers, and I did lose my dad. And then right on the heels of that, I turned 40. And it's such a weird series of events that I woke up tired the day after my 40th birthday. And I just was like, there's just some things I just don't want to do anymore. I just don't want to go around and around and around about anymore. And the show had just started airing right around my birthday. And I think it just was this overwhelm to go back and rewatch the arguments that we'd had, and then missing each other that we'd had. And it's really difficult when you feel like you said I was so clear. I felt like I was really clear in that moment too. Mm-hmm. And so to feel like, I don't know what else I could have said just then to make it palatable and understandable and serious to him, to rewatch that is excruciating.
Is it an age gap thing? And again, I know there is an age gap, but do you think it's a communication style of men his age? Is it an age gap thing? And again, I know there is an age gap, but do you think it's a communication style of men his age?
I think that could be part of it. I also think, it was a big shift not to, take the responsibility off either of us. You have to stay present in the lives of the people that you care about, whether you're with them every day, whether you're friends, lovers, whatever it is, you have to stay present with what's going on with people. And I think Todd and I both had big shifts in our lives. Todd was doing something new at work. I was doing new at work. We were seeing each other in different ways. And I think we allowed a big space to come between us. And then, it's really hard to come back from. So Todd and I are separated, and it's very difficult because our lives are so intertwined and so intermeshed after all this time together. And I hear him saying to me, since I've asked for that separation, that he wants to understand and he wants to do different and he wants to make it right. And there is a huge part of me that wants that for him. I don't want him to be hurt. I do want us to be together. I'd love to just smooth it over and move forward. But there's also a part of me that feels like some things you shouldn't have to explain, some things you shouldn't have to ask for, some things should be innately understood in such a close relationship. And I don't know. I think I'm being very difficult for Todd right now because I don't know what I want next. I think I just want some space and some time to think about it.
And he wants to go back to the way it was.
He would like to go back to how close and happy we were, and he's willing to make some changes to get there. I think maybe just as women, I don't know if everybody feels this way, but I feel like as a 40-year-old woman that I don't want to have to tell someone how to fix things with me.
Oh, wait till you get to 50. And wait till you get to 55.
Okay, I have 2 questions.
Yeah.
So he was so clear how much he didn't want to be on camera and he hated it and all of that. Do you think that the show, being on a show like this, kind of was driving you guys apart? Because he very much didn't, you can tell how uncomfortable he was with the whole thing.
Yeah, Todd is uncomfortable with the show, but also so proud of what the show has done for me and what I've done with being on the show and having that platform. And I think that's a really hard duality for him. So I always say the show did not cause problems for Todd and I, but it definitely shined a spotlight on the problems that we had or were heading into. And I don't think that the show caused that division between the two of us, but I do think that there was something. I was ready. My daughter was older. She was graduating from high school and going to college. I went from my parents' house to a dorm room to being a mom in 18 months.
Right.
So
right.
I have never, as an adult, said, this is what I want to do. And nobody kind of gets to tell me I'm just going to do it. And I was really excited about that phase of my life. And I think show or no show, Todd and I were going to have a little chafe around me having a life that was so much my own in this new kind of next era for myself.
Yeah. I mean, after watching the first season, I was hoping that he would watch that back and make such significant changes after seeing himself. And some of the things he said I thought were belittling. But I didn't see that in the second season. And I don't know if you started filming the second season before he's watching it back, but I'm proud of you is what I can say right now for taking the space.
I mean, I do want to be generous to Todd. He came to the reunion and he had seen clips, but not full episodes. He just didn't ever really want to see episodes. He hates the show. He hates to be on it. He hates to watch it. He hates my affiliation with it. He hates the show. So he had seen the clips that he was in. And he did say at the reunion, I do see where I speak to her harshly. I do see where it's gruff and blunt. And I do think that he made changes, but I think that Todd had such a negative association in his mind with the show that when the cameras would come back on, it's almost like when someone's going to misunderstand you, and so you like clam up and you freak out, and then
so it would bring out the worst in his personality.
Yep. And then he would get upset about, he said it weird and the cameras were here and I know they're going to use that, and he would like get kind of fussy about it, and then he'd be like, I don't want to film ever again, but then I have to film this to fix it, and like he just got in such a bad place with the show. And, and then we had this really beautiful summer. He was really there for me when my dad passed, and we weren't filming and it was done. And so to sit back down and have it start up again in the fall and rewatch it was, everybody feels like they know what happened between us. It was really the going back and reliving it while it aired.
And when you're in that space where you're not filming and there's Todd and he's being the best version of Todd, is there a part of you that you're like, I wish people could see this? Then they would understand my connection.
And I think some people follow me on Instagram and watch the show, and they have kind of seen the two sides of Todd, because on my Instagram, Todd wears matching pajamas with me, and he lets me have all these crazy dogs running around, and he'll fly to Milan with me for a fashion show, and then I hear that maybe I can go to the Oscars, and he is like, putting bags in the teeniest little car in Milan trying to get me to a 5 a.m. flight. Like, Todd's very supportive, and I get to show kind of a really more unfiltered version of him on Instagram. So I think if you followed me on Instagram, hearing we were separated was very shocking. If you only watched the show, people were like, long overdue, boo.
Right. What does your daughter think? I mean, she's so mature. She's obviously had a great mother.
Thank you.
What does she think of the show? Because I've got to tell you, I tried to post a family carousel on Instagram on Christmas. Let me tell you something. I stopped talking to my kids for about 4 hours on Christmas because the fighting and the arguing over, you can't use that picture of me. Yeah. Well, you can't use that picture of me. Well, you can't. And I was like, guys, it's just a picture of us at church. Can I just take, it's just a picture. It's not that deep. Yeah. It's not that deep. Yeah. We're just in front of the Christmas tree at church. Yeah. It's not a thing. Yeah. And the fighting and the arguing. So I'm picturing good for Todd. Todd has he's like basically all three of my kids rolled into one, and now he's on a reality show. How does your daughter deal with it? Is she okay with it?
Gwen does not care about the show at all. Gwen has always been like the little, anti-me since she was, Gwen's always been my little like vampire child. She's always been like the Slytherin to my, Hufflepuff.
I always say I'm Hufflepuff. Jan, do I not? Oh my gosh, I've never heard
everybody
anyone
wants
else
to be Gryffindor. I am clearly Hufflepuff.
Yes, I'm Hufflepuff.
You just have to know yourself. You just do.
Yes.
But Gwen has, she wanted to be a pigeon in kindergarten for Halloween. She used to want to be like a mortuary makeup artist in the first grade. Like, Gwen just always kind of been my little dark angel. And I'm very trolls. Like, I wish people farted cupcakes and glitter. You know what I mean? Like, we've just always been very different. So I think she is a little bit like mystified at this version of me that puts all this out there, but I've always been doing it on Instagram. So she's kind of used to it, but also, really was like, you had to tell everybody you've hooked up with women in Greece. Like, for real, you just had to say that. Like, there was nothing else you couldn't have been coy about it, Mom.
But doesn't that make you in her eyes cooler? Like, aren't you the cool mom now?
I don't know. She does not like watching herself back on the show. She does not like to be on my Instagram. She's very picky about if I have a picture of her, she wants to see it ahead of time, all those kind of things. But her boyfriend, Logan, lives with us, and he kind of dabbled on being on the show, and he is so funny about it. He loves it. He thinks it's really funny. Loves it. Yes. Thinks it's so funny, and is the first one to be like, that person over there is looking at you. I think they watched the show. Or somebody will come say something. He'll be like, I'll take a picture of you with her. Come on. Like, he is my little,
he's like
yes.
your spy, your facilitator. Yes. He sees everything.
Yes. He's so helpful. You know, he moved in when my dad was very ill and my mom was very ill. And I've just never seen a boy his age, like helping a dementia patient shower or putting my dad in and out of the car. I mean, I didn't know how to shave my dad's face. You know what I mean? Like, he did that for me, you know, like things that you don't think about that are so hands-on.
That's big.
Yeah.
That's big because, you know, if they can handle it during the worst of times, that's a really important character trait, I think.
And he and Gwen are just, they're funny. I mean, they know everything that goes on with Todd and I. We live in a big house, but it is also a small house. When there are things going on in the house, everyone knows everyone's business. And they are both just probably more mature about it than Todd and I are. Gwen's kind of like, yeah, you guys probably should be separate, but I love both of you. I might like Todd more than you. So separately, I'll see both of you and have fun independent of each other.
What does your mom think when she sees herself back on camera? Because that relationship it's tough. It's tough to watch.
Yeah. So Muzzy, the first time she was on camera, we had that little quick conversation about my dad and where things were. And she came to me right after that aired and was like, am I awful to you? Like, do you always feel like I'm this cold to you? Like, she was very shocked by how that was portrayed. I think she knows that she's not like lovey. She's not a real like huggy, kissy kind of a person.
And did she saw that back, or she had already felt that?
Nope. She watched it when that episode, we were in Mexico when that episode came out. We were on a little vacation and she was horrified by it. She goes, does it feel like this when you and I talk? And I was like, well, it's already happening. So I just was like, yeah, sometimes it feels like that. Not always, but sometimes, yes. And we had a really good conversation about it. And then right away was the conversation about my daughter and me being pregnant with her. That was like the very next episode. And that was so much, there was so much discussion about my mom on social media that was so negative that it really kind of took back her willingness to want to keep talking to me about things. I think she was so overwhelmed by how hated she felt on TikTok and on Instagram. And, you know, she went to get her nails done and somebody was like taking a video of her getting her nails done and she could hear them saying like, oh, I see Muzzy from Salt Lake City Housewives. Like, and she just felt like, yeah, I think she really shut down that was happening. So we had more conversations of like, you know, what was going on and how hard it's been for me to be on the show and people not always understand me. And we just kind of put our relationship wasn't being talked about. And then we kind of slowly got back into it. I mean, she's my mom. She texted me the other day and asked me, she did not spend Christmas with me. She was with my brother. And she texted me and she said, on Christmas, she texted me, she goes, I hope that you have done something really nice for Todd, together or not. I hope you, and I was like, okay, you could have started with Merry Christmas before you went right in on, am I being good to Todd? She's Muzzy, you know?
Like, it really affected me. Your relationship with your mom affected me in a profound way as a fellow Hufflepuff.
Yes.
I was just like very moved. I was so happy for you that you got that moment.
Yes.
I was super happy.
It was really amazing. And I think it's just a testament to like what can happen. I mean, there's no like nobility in reality TV, but also there are these very real moments that do happen. Yeah. I think if my mom and I filmed that conversation about my pregnancy, and she knew from the minute that conversation was over that it was a bad conversation. Like as they were packing up, she was talking to the crew and was like, I do feel that way, but I didn't want to say that. And like, I don't want you to use that. And I was like, they're using that. Like I saw their faces when they were filming it. That's in the trailer. Like it's happening. Like I knew it was like in the conversation. I was like, oh, this is what's going to be like, you just know certain things. And she kept saying to me, but they would never show something like this. Right. And I was like, they are going to show that. And you're going to have to get ready for that. They're going to show that. And so I think later as the season progressed, she kind of felt like I need to find a way to, I mean, she meant that when she said she was proud of me. We've talked about it since, and I know that, but I also think that some of the, like I said earlier, some of having a spotlight on your relationship, you do have to say, this is where this relationship is. If I don't want it to be here, I need to fix it. And I've had that with the women on the show. I've had that with my family. When you realize I'm going to have to answer for this, or I'm going to have to sit with what this looks like, if I don't like it, it's the onus is on me to fix it. And it's not all my mom's fault. I think you could see how awkward I was when she told me she was proud of me. You know, it's a two-way street. I wasn't so receptive of that. I didn't know what to do with that information. I'm also a little bit of a porcupine myself.
I thought you handled it beautifully. I really did. I thought, considering the circumstances and just like you just have such a history.
Yeah.
And I felt like you handled it beautifully. And I thought she did too. I was I was very proud of both of you. I was like, wow, this is what you call progress. Yeah. This is called being receptive and being open.
You have kids, there are ways that I show up for my daughter that maybe don't always resonate with her as much as I'd like for them to. And there are things that she would like for me to do that are not instinctual for me that I work really hard to do because I know it matters to her. So to have that moment with my own mom was really impactful for me.
We want to talk about the thing that you weren't there for.
Okay. The plane incident. Right.
Okay, that's right. Okay.
Did you feel like you missed an episode? Because I'm like, what just happened? And how did we not see it? There's camera phones everywhere.
In a world of cell phones, I've watched other Housewives. I've watched every trip that Orange County takes, every trip that Beverly Hills takes, Atlanta. They are filming from their cell phones 24/7. How did nobody see?
So I have some ideas about it. I wasn't there, so I don't know. These are just, this is like a fan theory.
You were so smart to not be there. You were smart to not be there.
And I need to know exactly what happened because I still don't understand.
Yeah, it's a lot going on. The trips are always crazier than filming back at home, but Below Deck was intense because we had no like you don't go back to your own hotel room or whatever, right? So I think everybody left with really heightened emotions also about everything that was going on. And just kind of lucky for me, I flew separate going. So I was on my own journey home.
So smart. So smart.
And I kept thinking that I was going to get in all this trouble because I saw the unicorn when I was leaving Below Deck. And I was like, I'm going to put it on the plane with me. I had like a little charter plane. And I was like, I'm going to take a picture with it, and all this kind of stuff. And then they were all texting me, you will not believe what's happening in the airport. This is all going on. Da, 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 da. And they were all kind of telling me, and I was still up Below Deck. I didn't really know what happened. And then it kind of went dark. There was nothing. There was definitely a scuffle at the airport when they left. And then everybody seemed to quiet down. And then I had my own drama on the plane home in my own personal life. And then I just start getting calls from production that we need to talk about the journey home, that we need to get clear on everything that's gone on the way home from Below Deck. Everyone needs to sync up. So we're going to start filming in some small groups. And, being the center snowflake of my own life, I just thought they'd all seen the tweets that I had seen about my own husband. So I had no idea what happened on their flight.
You thought it was all about
really thought it was all
I
about.
thought they were all going to confront me. You just were mad at Lisa for saying this on the boat when clearly it is, whatever else they were going to say. Yeah, that's what I was gearing up for.
But what did happen on the plane?
So can we get can we get I don't even know how to say. We can't get confirmation because I don't even think.
Why did no one have a cell phone?
I know. Why didn't any of the girls
I've traveled with
have
the girls before. We don't report each other. And that was definitely really made clear last year in Puerto Vallarta. So it is tricky.
So that was like part of the deal.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes Brittany and Angie and I have to mind our P's and Q's a little bit more than the girls who started together. There is definitely a bond. Once you're on the show, sometimes I see somebody on social media saying something about the girls, even if I'm not in a good place with them. And it's really hard for me because I know them and I know what it feels like to put your life out there or to film. Right. There is a kinship doing the show together, and they've been doing it for a long time together. And sometimes I think there's all of us together, and sometimes I think there's the OGs and the newer girls. There is a little unspoken divide there for sure sometimes. Right. But when I watched Brittany get caught recording in Puerto Vallarta, there was no, question in my mind that I would ever record the women after that. Right. I mean, I never thought about it before, but I certainly will not now. But I have traveled with the ladies lots of times. And all kinds of silly things happen. Like we joke on the plane, or, Brittany, when we were going to Greece, had this little teeny, it's cute. She has this little matching luggage set, but it looks like American Girl doll luggage. I always tease her. It looks like Dolly luggage. She has these little blue and white trolleys. And I'm like, they're cute, but why? I have these big Toomey cases that I have all my stuff in. Like,
yeah, but you've got couture going on.
Yes.
You've got
and
there's
she's like
things
wheeling
going
these cute
on.
little things around that I'm like, I could flick the wheel off of that thing. Like, why would you even bother? Like we make fun of each other. We travel, we're friends, whatever. And none of that makes air. I don't have any footage of that on my phone, So I don't know what happened on the plane, but it does not surprise me that there is not footage of it. I'm probably the least shocked there's not footage.
Okay, this is as I understand it, and from what I am deducing from watching the retells of everybody's confessionals and the way everybody's talking about it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I believe that there was a lot of drinking going on. And sometimes people, when they're going to take a long flight, and that was a long flight, I think sometimes they take like a Xanax or an Ambien or a what have you. I mean, I've been on planes with people. Albert, he'll slurp down a Valium
an
and an Ambien,
and
kidding? He'll literally, he has a martini, and that's it.
Martini.
He is out. He is out.
How else do you take an Ambien?
We've got to literally like shake him awake. We have to like get the paddles out and start him up. So what I think happened is that's what I believe. I believe there's drinking and maybe a pill. And again, I don't know this. This is my theory. And I think whatever was being said in a not present frame of mind. And I think that there was a lot of like hostility being thrown at Brittany, and nobody, like people.
And she was hysterically crying?
And she was crying in her seat silently, I believe is what was happening. But then from my understanding, again, as a viewer, the loudness started affecting the other girls, who then came back and was like, you've got to calm down. And then there was like screaming. There was screaming at like, wasn't Heather Gay got into it, I think. Didn't Heather get involved
Heather
in the
said
fight?
that she confronted Meredith, and Meredith said, if you side with her, you're dead to me, or I've noted your alliance, or whatever. I don't know what the wording was, but she was mad at Heather for stepping in, is Heather's version of it, yes.
And Mary Crosby heard it. Everybody was aware of it. And then Lisa Barlow said she was aware of it, but then sort of backpedaled and was like, oh no, we were just watching.
This just is like the biggest deal, and I'm so shocked that there's not even like another plane passenger filming this.
I was like, was this a private plane?
At the reunion, nobody busted out a video?
Okay, so I'll tell you this. I was not on the plane, I don't know. They all told me their stories, and I fly quite a bit. And I thought originally the girls could be mad at me, they could not be mad at me. When they all sat me down and told me what happened, I thought they're exaggerating it.
Right. Yeah.
There's no way. There's no way she was screaming for, we're not even say hours, but like half hours on end without somebody intervening, without somebody videoing it, somebody tweeting the housewives are on this plane and they're losing it, whatever it was. So at first I said, no way. And then the more that I heard that every single person, including Lisa, as you noted, said it happened. It was intense. It was the most upset I've ever seen Meredith. This went on for quite a while. Again, like I don't think Mary is coachable. Angie wasn't close to it. So I think there are some things that come up for Meredith and I about the way that we take responsibility and the way that we phrase how we accept accountability for things, that as I watched that unfold, that I thought, oh, there's some very careful things being said here. It wasn't that I didn't do this to Brittany. It was that I did not say that or yell that for X amount of time. But you did say or yell it at some point. And you did yell or say something at some point. So I think there's
the parsing of words, splitting of hairs.
Yeah.
Right. Got it.
And I think maybe there was a general like getting upset that she can separate from her what she said about Meredith or what she said about Brittani. So she's saying, I didn't, yell and scream about Brittani for hours. But if she was agitated and freaking out for hours and part of it was about Brittani, that's one way to say it. Do you see what I'm saying? That's just because that's my experience now with Meredith, is that I've realized when you try to talk to her about her behavior, she gets very lawyer-esque.
I do believe that it was probably exhaustion, defensiveness mixed with alcohol and maybe an Ambien.
I do say, and I hope you'll see it at some point, that I have traveled with them on other occasions, and there have been other incidents as we've traveled where people were irritated with each other. And I at one point I gave my glam girl, when I went to book my glam home from Puerto Vallarta, first class was full because we were all in there. And so she was in Comfort Plus coming home from Puerto Vallarta, and it had been a long trip for her. She'd never done a trip with me before for the show. And I gave her my first class seat, and I sat in Comfort Plus on the way home from Puerto Vallarta. So on the way home from Puerto Vallarta in my first season.
So nice, by the way. That's so
I think she was a little shell-shocked being around all of us. I'd filmed the whole season at that point. She tapped in for another makeup artist who was kind of like, wow, what is happening here?
You were buying her silence.
Yes. She'd had a massage before we left the hotel. She got my first class seat. I was like, well, let's just stay friends here. But I sat in Comfort Plus and watched the girls argue in first class. And I was sitting next to a gentleman who I could see on his iPad was texting a friend, the housewives are fighting in first class on this plane home from Mexico. And, none of that ever surfaced on Twitter. And none of that ever surfaced on Instagram. So when they started saying things to me and everybody's story aligned, and then I couldn't get a straight answer, how I say it, out of Meredith, I started thinking, well, this did happen last year. It wasn't a huge incident, but they were yelling in first class and they had to be told to be quiet about something they were arguing about. And I watched a man live texting a friend, this is happening, but those texts never appeared anywhere in a broader space. And they still haven't even now, which if I had texts, I'm watching the housewives fight and then they fight on another plane, I would have been like, they did this last year, like a fan would have. So there is something, it's not beyond my realm of thought that something happened. It's just not.
He was a man with a phone. If he was a 20-year-old girl with a phone, that would have been a TikTok video that night. It would have resurfaced the following year.
But also, Meredith does not like TikTok videos being made about her or people talking about those TikTok videos. So if I were a creator, I might not make a TikTok video about Meredith Marks right now either.
Everybody's scared of Meredith.
Everybody's scared. But is she litigious?
No, I'm just kidding because she got so upset when Brittani brought it up on the boat.
Right.
I have a question. So with everything going on in your life right now, not before the reunion where they're going to get credit for it, but now that the reunion's over, who's showing up for you of these women when you're going through this difficult time?
Yeah.
Like who shows up for you?
Yeah. So two things. Last year when my dad passed was within 2 weeks of us finishing filming in Greece. And you've seen the last episode. Not everybody ends in a great place in Greece. And everybody but one person on the cast personally reached out to me when my dad passed. Sent flowers, called me, texted me, checked on me. The crew all did. There was one very specific person who did not, and it did not surprise me. But everybody else, no matter my relation or my ending with them in Greece,
can we say it?
Said something to me.
It's got to be.
It's Meredith, right?
Yeah,
or is that what we're saying?
No, Meredith was very good to me when my father passed, despite how we ended in Greece. Meredith was wonderful to me.
Are you going to tell us who this was? No.
Okay, I'll tell you who was good to me. Heather, Whitney, Angie, Mary, Lisa, Brittani, and Meredith were good to me when my father passed.
Wait, I need to recount the
names.
names.
Go.
Okay, I'll go back through one more time. Heather and Whitney, yes.
Heather and Whitney.
Angie and Mary, yes. Brittani and Meredith, yes. It should not be this hard for you.
Oh, Lisa,
Yeah,
you met.
I did not
she
hear.
left
I
out
did not
Lisa.
hear from her when my father died.
Oh, but I'm not surprised.
I said I was not
because-
surprised by that. No.
No,
And
Lisa
what about now
lives
with-
in her own world.
Yeah.
And her own. realm.
And then, it has been leaked since we filmed the reunion that I told them at the reunion, but nobody, even major parts of my and Todd's family, knew that we were separated until I said it to the women at the reunion. I did show up and give that information to Andy before. I didn't go anywhere else with it. I wasn't like hinting around to people. We had very much kept that quiet because the holidays were coming up. And then once I knew when the reunion was being filmed, I felt like it's not fair if I put myself on a reality show not to show up and be honest about what's happening in my life. So it was disappointing that got leaked. That was kind of everywhere within a few days. But between the reunion and it being leaked, Whitney was wonderful. Mary was wonderful. Angie was really wonderful to me. And since then, Mary and Whitney and Angie have continued to text me and check on me. Mary makes sure any holiday, anything that feels like a special day, she's like, how are you? Are you cool? What's going on? Mary's been very good to me about it. Whitney's really been a good listening ear for me. And Angie's very supportive. She just has so much going on. We don't chat as often.
I think that Lisa's probably very, very intimidated by you. I think she's jealous. I think in her mind, she's doing exactly what you're doing in her mind. But then when she sees you doing it, it feels very threatening to her. And I see you such different birds of different feathers in a different nest.
Yeah.
But I think she thinks of herself as like, oh, well, she's doing that because I do that. That's like a thing with her, right? Like anybody that does anything she believes is.
And, I don't hate that for her. It's difficult to be friends with someone who feels that way, but I kind of live for her living in her deleu. You know what I mean? Like, what would that feel like to just walk around and be like, Kelly Ripa got those earrings because she saw me wearing them.
Right. She saw me wearing them. But I think that there is something that she can't say that you're copying her because you are so...
Well, during that conversation, Meredith and Mary and I were very quiet at our end of the table. I don't think that we felt like we needed to explain that we are not copying her. I think the three of us feel pretty cool in what we're doing. There was something said at that dinner about the brand Schiaparelli, and Mary kind of like made eye contact with me, and we kind of both raised our, I go to the shows in Paris. Mary's been wearing Schiaparelli for 10 years. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like it's, we were kind of like, oh, okay, sure, fine. So I think when something doesn't bother you, it doesn't bother you. But, Lisa, I thought we were better friends than she thought that we were. And so there's a hurt there for me. So I don't want anything bad for her. I think we could have been great friends because I agree with you. We're doing very different things, and it could have been supportive and fun and like a little odd couple almost, the two of us. But
well, next season she's going to say she did reach out to you, and
she
never heard back.
Receipts, timelines, screenshots, proof, whatever Heather said. There's not a text or flower delivery to go for it.
I memorized it.
Actually, the first time she said something to me about my dad passing was at Las Culturistas, and it was in front of Andy. So that would make a great, I would love for her to say, I absolutely did, because she said in front of Andy at Las Culturistas, oh, he said to me something about my dad. And she says, oh yeah, sorry. I meant, I thought, well, I didn't think you wanted me to. Like, she was kind of stumbly. So I don't even need receipts and proof and timeline. I got Andy. We're good.
We got Andy. You've got this here podcast. Thank you for doing the podcast.
Of course. I was so excited and thrilled about it. Yes.
Such a pleasure.
Tell Christian Kelly says hi.
Tell Christian. Please give him my love. Enjoy your dinner tonight. And I look forward to going to your pop-up atelier.
Yes.
That you're definitely, most certainly opening here in New York City.
And I'm going to get us really fabulous couture Hufflepuff merch. Like, not like normal universal merch, but like you and I need good Hufflepuff merch.
The time has come for Hufflepuff merch because nobody knows.
Yep.
We're the sleeper cool
It is.
people.
It is.
We are. Yes.
Not to say so myself, but yes, it is.
Yes, it is. It's a real pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Guys, that was exciting.
Yeah.
That was fun. So listen up, listeners. If you haven't yet, you're behind the times. Check out The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City on Bravo. And that's all we got. I mean, you guys got an earful today. So that's all you get. Can't wait to talk with you off camera next week. Bye-bye. Let's Talk Off Camera with Kelly Ripa is a production of Melojo Productions. From Melojo, our team is Kelly Ripa, Mark Consuelos, Albert Bianchini, Jan Chalet, Seth Bronquist, Roz Therian, Devin Schneider, Michael Halprin, Julia Desch, and Team Radio Andy, Lisa Mantaneo, Scott Marlowe, Jake Getz,